So the next one of managing the scope would be through change management, right? Now, first let's understand why we need this change management, because unless we understand why we are doing it, right? So, it will all be like, why do we need to do this, right? So only if you understand the implications of it, of what is the loss we are going to get if you are not doing this, that is when we would, we understand it much more better, and we would follow that process also, right? Now, let's take a scenario that you start with some 10 requirements. Okay. Now, 10 requirements, 10 are listed in your SOW. Okay. 10 of them are listed in your SOW, right? And also, let's say you have agreed for some 200K for this project, right? A small project, so we agreed for 200K, and then you would take 3 months to complete. Okay, so these were the terms written in your SOW: 10 features, 200K, and then 3 months of time. Okay, so you start capturing these requirements, right? So you are converting them from SOW to your BRD. Okay, and when you are capturing these 10 features, the customer comes and then says, you know what, I think we should add 2 more features to this, right? Now he is a customer, how can I say no to it? So I'll add those 2 more features. Okay, so total I'm delivering 12 features. Okay, then I would start the design and development. Right, so during the development, when I'm in the middle of development, the customer would come in and then say, you know what, I feel that we captured these, out of these 10, 3 of them were captured incorrectly, or I want that to be changed, right? So out of that, it would still be 12 requirements, but 3 of them have changed, right? So 3 are changed. Right? Now, effectively, the customer would think that, these 2 features have to be added, and I've only had 12 features. Right? Now you deliver it. Now you have taken these 3 changes also, and then said, okay, you've given it to the team to make that changes. Right? But totally, if you look at this, out of these 12, 5 of them have to be, are 5 requirements are taking additional effort. Right? We have not done an estimate for these 2 features, right? So on an average, let's say all 10 requirements are equal, right? So it's basically costing us 20K for our each requirement, right? Now with some 2 features coming in, maybe your project budget's cost could have gone up to 240K now, right? And with 3 requirements changing, I could add, let's say, another 60K, right? So totally, your cost have escalated to 300, right? So from 200, they have gone to 300, and who is paying for the rest of the 100? Nobody, because the customer thinks that these 2 are valid requirements, it should be there, so it should be there in the system, and 3 of them just comes and then changes it, right? Now, if you are in a situation without a change management process, you will not be able to say no to these kind of requirements coming in or changes to the requirements, right? Okay, in a difficult situation, it's difficult to say no to a customer, right? And having said that, you cannot just accept those changes or new requirements, because it's actually increasing your project cost by 50% more. From 200K, it has gone to 300K, right? It's a very difficult situation to be in. Okay, and since we are the business analyst, we would be held responsible for all the requirement changes. Okay, so the project manager would come and ask, why did you take that requirement? Okay, so we'll be in a very delicate situation there, and it's uh, not easy to say no to the customer. It's not easy to accept the changes. How do we manage this situation? That's where the change management process comes in place. Another point I missed to mention is it's not just about the cost, right? So we agreed for a 3-month timeline. It's a very short duration, right? Now within these 3 months, you are adding 2 features and changing 3 more, right? So 5 of them are imparted, which means ideally, if you have estimated, maybe it would have taken you 4.5 months to complete, right? So the customer expects it to be done in 3 months. So the whole team has to work extra hours and then deliver it for no wrong on their side, right? So change management process is very important to manage the cost and the timelines of the project. If the change management process is not there, it's very difficult to manage these situations. Okay, now what is the change management process? More or less in any organization you'll go, you'll have the same change management process. It's a standardized process. Okay, now the first thing that you have to do when a change comes in, when any of the changes up to the requirements comes in, or a new requirement comes in, which is not there in your reference document, in your baseline document, if it is not there in your baseline. So these two can come in at a later point, right? So once the BRD is signed up for your 10 requirements, okay. So let's say that you captured the 10 requirements in the BRD, and then the customer comes in and adds 2 added, which makes it 12. And then 3 are changed, so effectively it becomes 15, right? So in the BRD we had initially only 10, but by the time the solution is delivered, it will have 15 features, right? So the system would have 15 features. Okay. Now all you have to do is
10 features were committed for while doing the baseline for SOW. Then later 2 were added, so 12. But 3 are changed means the existing one which were committed in the SOWs are changed, right?
Yes.
You mean okay?
Yeah. So existing, I mean, you captured 10 requirements, right? So let's say the customer comes in during the design development, when you're doing the development or during the testing, right? So
you're means already after the BRD is baseline, after that he wants the
change.
One. Okay, fine.
Yeah. Fine. So it's not during the BRD, after the BRD is approved, right? So it has to be approved again. Okay. So otherwise the customer would go back and then say, what, I didn't approve that BRD. Why are you looking at it? Right?
Okay.
So effectively you're putting in additional effort which is going unnoticed. So change management as a process would stop that. Okay. So what do you need to do? The process is very simple. Okay. All you have to do is whenever the customer comes in and then say, what, I want this requirement to be added, or can you change this requirement instead of doing it in steps 1, 2, 3, let's do it in 4, 5, 6 steps. Right? So is modifying it, or maybe suggesting changes to the screen. So to summarize, the requirement is changed, right? So request would come in these 2 formats to you, right? Either added or changed. Okay. Now when either one happens, make sure that you ask the customer to send you a formal request. Most of the times these requests would come in, the customer comes over to you or calls up and then says, what, can you make that small change? And then you say, okay. So that is where a lot of problems comes in. If you say that initially at the start of the project we agreed with this change management process, so we need to have that documented. Can you fill in this change request form, We call this as a CR. You will hear this term a lot. Change request. CR stands for change request. So you'll send him a template for change request and then say, can you please add your new requirement in that, or the modifications to be done in that change request, because that's mandatory as a process. And so you're putting it onto the process and then saying and politely refusing, saying that verbally we won't we will not take it. We need to follow the process. So please fill in this change request. Okay. Now, a lot of your frivolous requests, the customers just sometimes, the subject matter experts or the person who are telling you the requirement, just tell you the requirement just for the heck of it. So they are not losing anything, right? If you do it, it's good. They're getting some more features. If you are not, then okay, what is the loss they're going to have just by asking something, right? Now, if you insist on this CR, right? So wherein they have to list all the changes regarding the all the details regarding the change. They have to justify why this change is required and why it is coming now. Why was it not done earlier, right? A lot of these details are covered. I'll show you the template as well, but let me first explain the process, right? So a CR consists of all these details. Okay. Now, when you ask for the CR, most of your request would just drop off. So they would say, okay, no, let it be the way it is. You don't need that. Right? All that frivolous requests would just go off, right? So you're cutting down on those, frivolous requests coming to you, right? So rule number 1: don't accept any request verbally. Ask them to fill it up into a change request and then only take it up. Okay? Change request would be part of your change management plan. I'll show you the change management plan document after I explain the process. Okay?
I have a question on this. Suppose after the SOW has been baseline and then we start preparing the BRD, but if the BRD is not been signed off by the solution owner, and suppose at that time before baselining the BRD, if he feels that there should be some change instead of any of the requirement he wants to add or delete any requirement, then we don't need that change request thing, right? Then we have to accept it because it is not gone to the further as it has not been baseline, right?
Yes, that would not be considered as a change request.
Okay, but the time has been involved, right? Because
SOW, you would have considered that as a part of your requirement elicitation process.
I didn't get you, sir.
So see, that would still be done as part of your requirements phase.
Okay.
Right? So
okay, till the BRD is been baseline and signed off.
Yeah, only see, because that would still be those discussions happening, and then the requirement is not finalized. So that would generally be considered as part of your requirements elicitation effort.
Okay, means SOW is just a temporary baseline, if you think, right?
Right. Now, what I told you is only for the changes coming in. But if the customer adds one here,
okay,
right? So then that would also be considered as a change request, or you have to figure out the cost and timeline effect onto that. You get it?
Okay.
Now,
because
out
the money
of these 10, let me explain this.
Yeah.
I got what you are trying to ask.
Right.
Okay. Now, out of these 10, let's say 2 requirements, we have almost finalized, but before the BRD is signed up, the customer comes and then say, make these changes to this, right? So you should do that. So that's not a change request. Okay. But if he comes and then says, I want this additional requirement coming into my BRD, right, which was not there in your SOW, right? So this would be a change request. Anything new coming in would be change request. Changes till the BRD would not, till the BRD is signed off, this will not be a change request.
Okay, means SOW, suppose if there are 10 requirements, it has been signed off, and then we are preparing the BRD for those 10 requirements which have been signed off in SOW or which have been baseline in SOW, and suppose if he is adding one more requirement into the BRD, so then again there would be we have to ask him to go for the change request, because the budget allocation and everything would be again reconsidered for that one additional requirement. Okay, fine.
Exactly. right?
Clear.
So sometimes we call that as a change request, or maybe within the BRD we'll add it, or and update our effort and all, right? So
Okay.
you'll have to check the process with the project manager, but most of the cases a change request is initiated for that.
Okay, because the project manager would be included into this process when anything extra is being added.
Yeah, you will keep
Keep him in the loop. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I have a question. With the change request, why the timeline doesn't get affected? So the change request, if the change request is submitted, the timeline remains the same?
Are you saying that if the timeline is not affected, would you accept it? Is that what you meant? Or?
No. So with the change, the timeline remains the same, even if the change like 5 changes are there. The timeline remains the same.
Timelines also could change. You'd be paid some additional money, so you'll have to for the additional effort that you're taking in. So you'll get paid for the additional effort. Then you also increase the effort. Let's say you added 1.5 months for those 5 additional requirements coming in there. Right? So all this has to be done. So how does this process happen? I'll explain you. Right? But the first step, when you are taking the request, make sure that it's coming into a change request. All right? So this is clear, right? Now, once the change request comes in, right? So now formally the customer has asked you the change. Okay, it's documented. Now you know that this change request is coming. Then you need to do the impact analysis. You need to figure out, what exactly is the change about? What is the impact of that, right? So does it cost 20K more, or does it cost 40K, or is it the small thing which costs us 5K, right? And what is the effect on the timelines also? The request could come in when you are doing the design. It could come in when you are doing the testing also, right? So depending on that, the effort would also increase, right? If the request came in during testing, it might take you little more effort. If the request has come in only during your design phase, since you have not done your development and testing, the effort must be lesser, right? So you'll figure out the impact on all those terms, like your cost, schedule, the people availability, right, and the timelines what you have committed. A lot of parameters would be analyzed, and it's not just you. The technical architect would also be involved in this analysis. It's a joint exercise. Okay, so basically you're figuring out what is the impact of this change. So you're not just blindly accepting once the change request comes in. So if it gives you in a document, you're not going to accept it. Okay, so you would analyze that. You will provide your recommendations, saying that what, this change request cost us additional 20K or 30K, right? And it would take me another additional 2 weeks to complete this. Complete this, and you would send these details to the senior guys in the project. So you are not deciding it to accept a change or not, right? So the change request would be taken. You would do the impact analysis, and then you would send it to the senior management. We call that as the change control mode.
Over here, the money which has been decided, it would be decided by the higher management, right? We would just be studying the impact analysis, and then they would decide the amount, like how much would be required more, and then we would be just documenting that and then forwarding it to the SMEs or whoever is the relevant person, and then it would be finalized between the solution owner and the SMEs, right?
Right. So we would send it to the team, which we generally call as a change control board or change authorization board, right? So that generally involves a project manager, the solution owner, sometimes a sponsor also, and they would decide whether to take a change request or not, right?
Okay,
so you are not deciding that.
Okay.
Right? So you are only saying that, I have analyzed this change request came from this SME. I have analyzed this. Now you tell me whether I should take it up or not.
Okay.
Okay. So only after he approves, that is when the change is implemented. Right?
So here we would only tell the dependencies which are there, which are going to be impacted due to that change. Only that information would be going, right?
Not just that, you would also tell what is the effort it would take, what is the timelines it would take, who are the people, or maybe if you are in the testing phase and you don't have a business analyst or maybe an architect to do the designing right away, right? So all those dependencies and the you would analyze the current situation, say these are the things, issues what we have. So we need to onboard a business analyst and a technical architect to perform these activities for another 1 week, right?
Okay.
So you'll give that impact analysis over there. How
Okay,
to get this done.
Okay, so this impact analysis would be done with the help of the leads also, right? Because we would be coming to know from them, right, how much time would be needed, and the architecture means
Right.
everybody from the
Like I said,
right.
it's a joint exercise. You'll broadly check this with the technical architects and the project manager also, and then it would be a joint exercise. It's not completely your responsibility.
Okay.
So you'd also check whether it's feasible or not, whether it's conflicting with other requirements. So there are a lot of things that you would do as part of the impact. I'll show you the template and the change management plan. I think it will become more clear. But yeah, so see, even if you think logically, this makes sense, right? So rather than just take the requirement as it comes, you're asking him to give a formal request, then you're checking what is the impact of that, and then asking the right people to take the decision, right? So somebody has to approve the budgets. So you're asking that set of people to say, this request came in and this is the cost it would have and timelines impact would be this. Do you want me to accept this requirement or not? Right? So if you look at logically, this makes sense, right? So that's exactly what we're doing in a change management plan. So there's nothing too complicated or a complex process here to understand what we are doing, right? So even if you don't understand all of these concepts, right? So you could have easily thought through this, and then I should actually look at the impact onto this, and then get the necessary approvals before adding it to a BRD, right? So that sense we should have, but ensure that there is a change management process which is agreed upon during the requirements, during the planning phase. Why? Because if there is no requirements, there is no change management plan, the customer would say, why should I fill this request? There is no process as such. Right? So it becomes easier for you to convince the SMEs to send you these CRs, right? So it makes your job easier. So you can always say, it's a process. You can blame the process and then say, we need this request in this particular format, right? So people generally buy that logic. Otherwise, they will just say, it's a small thing. Why don't you do it? Right? So you can say, as a process, I am not expected to do it. Can you request that to fill in that change request, right? So this way, any additional effort that you are putting, which is not, committed in your or your BRD, you are making sure that you are getting that build, and then you are getting enough time to get it delivered. Otherwise, you'll be in a lot of trouble later. Okay, so clear with the change management process. Let's quickly go through the template also. Generally, this would be all standard documents, right? So any organization you go, there will be a change management plan. You don't need to write it from the scratch for the project. As per the change management plan template, the teams would give you. All you need to do is you need to add all those blue terms where you just need to add in the project name, the key people, right, and the version controlling details. All those details needs to be added, right? So anyway, the change management plan, this is there, right? So broadly, the process would be like this. It's similar to what I have explained. You would generate a change request, right? So the person who is requesting the change has to fill in this change request form and then send it to you. Then you would evaluate it. Then the change control board would authorize it, and then you would implement the change. Okay, and throughout you would track all these change requests. So there needs to be an Excel sheet with all the list of all changes which came in. If 10 change requests came in, you will list down 10, and then you will list down the status of it as well, and track it to closure. Okay. So a typical change request would capture these details. What is the change request, as description, a justification, right? So he has to actually justify why is this change required. right? The impact, benefits, what exchange exactly it is, who is the person who is requesting for this, his contact details, and a priority as well, right? Then you would evaluate the change request on multiple parameters. First, you would classify whether it's high, medium, or low priority. Then you look at what is the impact on scope, the time, duration, cost. Do you have the resource available? What are the deliverables currently which are being affected? So that depends on the phase of the project where you are, right? Then any product, process, or quality, anything which is affected. So usually you can follow the template and then see. Some of them would be not applicable. Some of them could be applicable. You'll fill in whatever is applicable, right? So you do that analysis, right? And then submit it to the change control board, right? So when you first fill in these details, it should be maybe in the open status. Then you would send it to the change control board. Change control board generally has the project managers from both sides and the solution owner as part of as a change control board. So these three people generally decide, should this change be accepted or rejected? If it is accepted, should it come in this version or can it come in as a patch in a later version, right? All those decisions would be taken by the change control board. They would also approve the budgets. Any changes or impact to the timelines also would be approved by the change control board. So formally you are getting paid for the changes which you are doing. You are also getting additional time to do it also, right? So that decisions can be taken only by the change control board. You cannot decide, right? So you should not be accepting the change request just like that, because it will have implications on cost and all. So the change control board would be clearly listed down. Then you would clearly list down all the roles and responsibilities of who has to do what. All this is covered as part of the change management plan, right? So you are not preparing this document. The project manager owns this, right? So sometimes he could ask you to do that. So it all depends from project to project, but it's not too complicated. You need to figure out who those people are and then fill it. Then both the client and the the vendor project managers would sign off this document, saying that we'll follow this change management plan. Okay. Then I think you have a template also here for change management plan. So your change request would generally be like this. Then you'll capture your initial analysis and what is the change control board decisions, right? So one single document would track it end to end, and you can use this template. You could just send this one pager to the client and then say, can you fill in these details, and then I would analyze it and then we'll take a decision on it, right? So SMEs will not know about the change management plan, right? So it is you who have to guide them and then say, there is this process, and if you are changing requirements, we have to follow that process and enforce it. Otherwise, you'll keep on accepting changes. And the client would also keep on, bombarding you with changes. Why? Because, what does he have to lose? Nothing. You just have to send an email or not even email. You just have to call you and then say, make this change. And if you are making it, it's good for him, right? So without any additional pay, he's getting things done. Okay. To safeguard your interest, you need to ensure that this change management plan is in place. Okay.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay, this change management, I understood this thing, but now suppose if we are following like agile methodology or anything like that, and if there is a change management, then it would impact also the iterations which are
agile doesn't have change management, so it
doesn't
allows you to make any changes at any point in time.
Okay, suppose, but if it is a waterfall, then which one? Waterfall, prototype, spiral, iterative?
All the SDLC models, what we discussed, the prototype, iterative, and all that, generally follow this process, change management.
Oh,
right?
Okay, so then, I got it.
Not relevant for agile, right? So you don't prepare these detailed plans, you don't manage the scope in this way. So agile works completely different, right? So this is only for the traditional SDLC models.
Okay, fine. Yeah.
All right, so let's take a stop here. So tomorrow's session we'll look at the requirements risk assessment, and also whatever we learned we'll relate it to a case study. This is one of the projects that I have executed, and it clearly summarizes the context, and it is a little complicated one as well, not a straightforward one. So we'll figure out how do we identify the project type, what are the first things that we do once we're onto the project, right? And how do we, figure out a lot of stuff. We'll discuss that in tomorrow's session. Okay. So that would be the things that we would do in the first week or so of the project, right? So you're not going directly and then saying, okay, let's start with requirement 1. You're doing some planning. So you're creating a project plan in place. You're ensuring that there are scope management techniques identified. You'll agree on the traceability template, the change management template. All those, both the parties would agree. And once all these documents are signed off, the project plan is formally approved by the client. That is when you will get into your requirements. Okay, so till that time, it's all planning exercises. All right. Any other questions, guys? The rest of the team, are you guys following it? Are you able to understand? I just like to hear from you. A lot of you are being on silent. Just wanted to make sure that you understand it.
Yeah.
Okay, great to hear that also.
Yeah, I'm getting it.
Okay, good.
Thanks for watching the video. Please like, comment and subscribe for more updates.